Okay, today's video is going to be covering a rather specific topic, a specific subject, but I think that it merits a little bit of a closer look. So let's head over to the article. Let's read through it and then offer a few comments. So the title of the article is Offshore Borrowers Fuel Australia's Bond Market Expansion. So strong offshore demand lifted Australian bond issuance despite higher domestic interest rates, with the market expected to reach 3.5 trillion by 2030. So the article begins, Australia's bond market continued its rapid expansion during the first half of 2026, with offshore borrowers flocking to the local market and pushing syndicated issuance 42% higher than a year earlier despite elevated interest rates. So Commonwealth Bank and Bloomberg data showed 191.74 billion of syndicated bonds were issued in the first 6 months of the year, while the broader Australian dollar fixed income market has grown 42% over the past 5 years to 2.8 trillion. The Commonwealth Bank of Australia (CBA) expects that market to reach 3.5 trillion by 2030. So recent activity underscored Australia's growing appeal for international issuers, with 6 offshore borrowers entering the market for the first time in recent weeks. Commerzbank and Caixa Bank were among those debuting Kangaroo bonds, each raising more than 1 billion from investors. According to CBA head of trading Mitch Grosser, the market's continued expansion has implications beyond capital markets by giving companies and governments greater access to funding while creating more domestic investment opportunities. A bond market of this scale is national infrastructure in its own right. It means Australian companies and governments can finance themselves more efficiently, and Australian savers have more places at home to put their long-term capital to work. That benefits the businesses raising capital here, the investors deploying it, and ultimately the broader economy that runs on top of it, Grosser said. While Australia has maintained some of the highest policy interest rates in the developed world following 3 Reserve Bank of Australia rate RBA increases this year, Grosser said overseas issuers continue to find the economics of issuing Australian dollar debt compelling once proceeds were converted back into their home currencies. The high yields are obviously attractive for investors on an absolute basis, but for the offshore issuers, what's more important is the level when it's swapped back to their home currency, and that's still been relatively attractive, Grosser said. Australia's credit quality has also remained a draw card for global investors, according to CBA. RBA data shows the country represents around 1% of outstanding advanced economy sovereign bonds, but accounts for more than 10% of the global AAA rated universe, giving investors relatively scarce access to highly rated assets. That has been reinforced by Australia's G10 currency, stable political environment, transparent regulatory framework, and established legal system, qualities that have become increasingly attractive as global investors seek to diversify portfolios. Much of that momentum has been built over several years, with Grosser crediting Australian sovereign and semi-sovereign issuers led by the Australian Office of Financial Management for expanding the country's international investor base after the COVID-19 pandemic. Domestic banks and corporate issuers have since built on those relationships, broadening participation in the local market. We are very cognizant we were very cognizant coming out of COVID that the evolution of the market we were able to achieve in that time was something we did not want to lose, Grosser said. Growing investor participation has also been accompanied by stronger market liquidity. Commonwealth Bank said the number of active institutional investors has roughly doubled over the past 5 years, with more than 430 unique investors participating in corporate AMT and issuance during the past 18 months, while the domestic repurchase agreement market has expanded from just over 200 billion Australian dollars in 2020 to 365 billion Australian dollars in 2026. With more international borrowers expected to make their Australian market debut, Grosser said the structural changes underpinning the market's growth were likely to continue. Australia is increasingly seen as a core funding market globally, Grosser said. So that is the end of the article, and it's very relevant to what a lot of people are working on when it comes to, you have this Australian dollar fixed income market, which has grown 42% over the past 5 years, which is quite impressive. And I think the key other point of this article is this quote right here. A bond market of this scale is national infrastructure in its own right. It means Australian companies and governments can finance themselves more efficiently, and Australian savers have more places at home to put their long-term capital to work. Meaning that if people have a super fund, superannuation fund in Australia, maybe there's a little bit more space domestically to put their money to earn a yield, as opposed to looking for offshore opportunities outside of Australia. So very revealing article. Wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. This is something that we are covering very closely now. Cryptodeposit.org is available in most countries. And as you can see here, in case you did take an interest to explore cryptodeposit.org, all you've got to do is connect your wallet. You can use our partner platform, Crypti, especially if you're down under. Otherwise, MetaMask. Many people use MetaMask. There's dozens of wallets to choose from. So you can deposit cash. You can even deposit Australian dollars. You see here. You can buy stables. You want to get USDC, USDT. You can go ahead and do that. And then most importantly, if you wanted to deposit your USDC or USDT, you will be able to receive a yield. So you can get as little as 7 days up to 5 years if you wanted to earn a yield. There's a yield curve here. And then again, we've got your holdings. So your bills will be viewed both on the wallet here and on your MetaMask or whatever it may be. So just connect your wallet to have that viewable, the borrowing and lending protocol. So you can borrow and lend assets, right? Your tokens, OTC desk in case you wanted to buy and sell. So in case you wanted to exchange stables or buy, sell versus fiat, all that good stuff. And then your statement history, XMTP secure messaging from wallet to wallet. So it's just by connecting via your Ethereum wallet or similar. Activity history, and then exchange and swap. So we've got a white paper at the bottom if you want to read it. There's a YouTube video on the white paper, and then there's a bunch of tutorials on the YouTube channel of how to get started on cryptodeposit.org. So with that being said, wanted to share this interesting article about what's going on in Australia. Very good news going down under. So wanted to quickly share that with you all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this brief video, and you can find more exciting recent news on stablecoins and fixed income and those sorts of things here at cryptodeposit.org YouTube channel. And looking forward to sharing other information with you guys as we find really interesting, relevant topics that we cover here on the channel. Have a good day, everybody, and see you again soon.